let's just hop straight on into this tutorial today. You want to start off by opening your software. I am using Chroma Inspire. What you want to do is go up to File, Open, and you're going to search for the file that you are wanting to use. Today I am using my new logo. I got it digitized from someone off of Etsy, but this is my first time using them. Normally I have been using Z Digitize. I will be linking their info in the description below. If you're looking to get something either digitized or a vector image made, they do offer both services. I have a code as well as a link that you can use to get a little discount or whatnot. So that will be left in the description. So once that you found the file that you wanted to do, you're going to push open and it will come into your frame. So as you can see, it says SYG Visions, Strong Young Gifted. What am I doing now? I'm just going through my different steps to change my colors. These colors right here are not the exact colors of my logo. You don't technically have to go put the exact colors in, but it helps for when you get ready to go to your machine. You already know what colors you're going to use for what steps instead of having to sit there and figure it out then. So I'm going to go for each step to the right hand side and pick out what color those areas are supposed to be. So I'm on step number 2, which is supposed to be red. Step 3, I believe I chose green, a different kind of green. Or I might have did orange, I can't remember. I hope everyone is having a good day or good night. Everyone has been doing well. I appreciate y'all tuning back in to another video. As I finish going through my colors, I want to also state that I once again apologize for not being posting like I said I was. As I stated in the previous video, I was going through some things. My grandmother wasn't doing too well. Well, unfortunately, she did happen to pass away a couple of days ago. So just continue to bear with me, as you know, everyone deals with death differently. I'm not going to lie, it is taking a toll on me, but I am going to eventually get it together and get back to posting like I said I was. So just know that I did not forget about y'all. I just going through some things right now. And yeah, so let's get back to this video. I just finished with the last step, which was the white. Once you're satisfied with the colors you've chose, in my case, I did go back and change my orange and yellow. I changed my yellow stitches to the orange and my orange ones to the yellow. So first thing you want to do once you get to the machine is remove your flat bracket so you can put on your hat, your capping bracket. So you want to take a Allen wrench. For my machine, I have Allen wrench type screw heads on mine. You want to untighten that screw, and there's another one on the other side. I just start it off and then I finish it with my hands. And you want to take the screw completely out. You're going to do the same thing to the one on the other side. Starting it with the alley wrench, and then I am going to finish with my hand. And it lifts straight up and out. Straight up and slide it off and under. Be careful not to hit your needles, your presser foots. I was able to finally do my training for my machine today. We started about 9:30, then finished till about 1 o'clock. I do believe we probably could have finished around 12 o'clock, but we did have one person that was having issues with both his flats stitch out and his cap stitch out, so it took a longer time than I expected training to go. But as far as myself, I think I did pretty good from the constantly looking at YouTube, also constantly looking at people's posts in the group on Facebook. I believe I was fully prepared for today. I was the first one to finish out this cheer design right here, which came out pretty good. I also was the first to get done with my cap, cheer cap as well. Cheers. At first I was kind of skeptical about embroidering on this cap or wasting this cap just for that word or that design, but the colors that I chose, it came out pretty good, so I will definitely be wearing it. Overall, it was still a helpful class, definitely, because one, like I said, that person was having issues and they was trying to give him solutions to fix his issues. So I did take that into note. Let's get back into this. So now you want to take your cap driver, which I have in my hand right here. It's kind of difficult holding this and trying to put it on at the same time, but I don't know if y'all can see those 4 wheels right there. I'm gonna bring you a little closer, let you see a little better. I do apologize for the weird angles and the constant moving of my camera. But what I'm trying to show you is those wheels that's in the back. You want to make sure they catch that bracket up under your sewing arm. As you can see me pointing to it, that bracket right there, you want those wheels to be attached and rolling on to them. So like I said, it's a little difficult trying to hold that and make sure the bar at the top does not hit anything, but you want to try to get it lined up best as possible. And once you got those wheels on, it will just slide straight back. Once you get back far enough, you want to lift up the silver bar and then place on top of the tabs that was sticking out. Once you got both sides on the tab, those 2 screws you took out earlier from the flat bracket, you want to put those back in. I normally, once again, hand tighten it and then finish it off with an Allen wrench. And once you tighten them off, you have successfully put on your cap drive. So now you want to make sure you have the correct color threads hooked up. If not, you want to change those out. So for this particular design, I need to have a orange and a yellow. So you will see me change out this light green and that tan beige looking color and put orange and yellow in their places. The easiest way to do this is, as you just saw, I cut the thread that was sitting there. I replaced the clear cap. And now I'm going to place the new thread, which is orange, in this position. And you're going to tie the ends together. So the end of the new thread to the end of the old thread that you just cut. I like to double knot mine because I have found that when I only knot it twice, when I get ready to pull it through, it does not come out right. It end up coming apart. So once you tie that knot, as you can see, you're going to come to the front of the machine, find the needle thread that you just replaced, which in this case was needle number 10, which is the last needle. I am going to just pull that piece of thread that is the old thread that was there before and just gently pull on it until you see the new thread that we just placed at top, which was the color orange. As you can see, it just came down. It's wanting to get stuck in the needle because I did 2 knots. And eventually I will get it through there. And once you pull enough through, you're just going to cut it. With that tail you have hanging, you're going to take it. I'm out of frame. It is a gray little thing right above that needle. You're going to take that thread and go around from the left side over to the right, and it will cut it off. I apologize for being out of the frame. I'm going to show you that one more time, but this time I am going to only tie the knot once so you can see what happens. So once again, the thread that is already there, you're going to cut it, leaving a lot of it hanging. Then you're going to place your new color, which in my case will be yellow. I am going to place the plastic cone little placement thing back on there. The reason I took them off is because my thread that I had on there, the bottom of them aren't as big as the bottom of this one. So therefore, since this one is big, it needs to sit on top of that cone. Once again, like I said, you're going to tie the new thread with the old thread that was hanging down that you cut. In this demonstration, I am going to only tie the knot once so that I can show you the issue that I have been running into with trying to pull my thread through with just one knot. So as you can see, I only did one knot. And I'm pulling it to make sure it's tight. Now come back to the front of your machine again. That needle that we just changed thread color was number 7. So I am going to gently start pulling it as well. And you want to pull until you see the other thread come through. Sometimes when you're pulling, sometimes it get, I guess, caught in the machine, and eventually the knot comes out. As you will see in this case, it came completely out without the other color thread. So now I have to try to find the end of it. Which I forgot to bring you up into frame, but I did find it. Now I am having to take it through this little hole and then back down. And once you go down, it's some little yellowish holes. Those little yellow holes, you need to take the thread down into that hole. Once you have gotten it through that yellow hole, it will come out from the bottom. And now it is time for you to thread the needle. I like to snip the end of my thread to make sure it's a nice cut and not frayed, because it makes it more difficult to take it through the needle. Now I turned on my light so I could see a little better, and I'm just threading it through the hole. Then I'm going to grab my tweezers and take the end down into the hole of the presser foot, and then pull it on through. Then I'm going to take it and push it back behind that hook right there. Then you're going to take the tail of the thread, go up to the left, over to the right of the little gray little thing above the needle, and it will cut the thread for you. Okay, now the next step you want to do is get ready to hoop your hat. This little silver piece here is called your hooping station. You want to make sure you have it hooked onto a sturdy table. So I just hooked it up to the actual stand the machine comes on. You want to, in this case, my thing is a little loose, so you will see me take it off and tighten it with a screwdriver. But that piece that I was pointing to is what you want to have your stabilizer under, as well as, I think it's called a sweatband. Okay, so now I'm going to be snapping it back on to the hooping station, and we're going to try to do this again. This right here is called stabilizer, tearaway stabilizer. You want to use at least 1 or 2 pieces when you have a non-structural hat, but if you are using a structured hat, you can get away with not using none, or you can use at least 1 piece. Also, that little silver piece that I have the paper up under, sometimes when you first get it, it is kind of hard to put your cap sweatband up under it. So you will see me struggle with it a little bit, and I will get out a flathead Phillips head screwdriver and pry it open a little bit. See, as you can see right now, it's getting bunched up and not wanting to go up under it. And I just keep on trying, and I will finally eventually give up. I'm still trying. So right now, I am looking for my flathead screwdriver because it's not going on the way I would like it to. So like I said, you're going to take the tip of it, the flathead kind, and go up under it and kind of pry it up. And we're going to try it again. You're going to pull that sweatband and try to get it as far up under that silver piece as possible. You want the bill of your hat to be touching that silver piece. And as you can see, I am still struggling, but now I'm finna take my tweezers to help me pull it forward some more, because your hands kind of get in the way of pulling as well. So just be careful when you're using tweezers, because you might puncture the actual garment, or in this case, a hat. So you want to try to get it as far as under there to the point where that bill of the hat is up against it. So that right there, I am satisfied with. Next, I am going to take this metal arm, and you want to get it as close as possible to the bill of the hat, and wrap it all the way over to the other side. On the other side, there is a hook that you need to hook it to. So once you got it going all the way around, close as you possible to the bill, you're going to pull the little hook down onto the hook, latch onto the hook, and then push up to close it down, clamp down. As you can see, I am bending the bill of my hat a little bit, so it'll be a little more flatter, not as curved. Then I am going to take some clips, and I am going to pin the back of the hat so I can tighten. As you can see, I am pulling down. You want to try to get that top of the hat as flat as possible. So you put one on one side and then one on the other side. And you do want to try to line it up as good as best as possible, but if not, that is okay. You can fix that once you get it onto the actual machine. So now that we are fully prepped To get started, I'm turning on my machine and I am going to let it load itself up. So this right here is a previous design. The first thing you want to do when you are about to start a project is you want to hit the unlock button, push OK. Then you're going to insert your thumb drive, then hit the file button, which is the stars, and it says files up under it. You're going to go and select your file from your thumb drive, and then you want to save it to the machine. So that button right there that looks like an embroidery machine with a blue triangle, that is what you want to push. It will save your design to your machine. You can leave your thumb drive inside. I like to take mine out. From there, you're going to go back to file. You're going to go to the machine and go and select the file you just uploaded. Once you select it, it should pop up in the display and you're going to push OK. And it should be up there in your display once again. Next, you are going to select your hoop size. So the button you want to go is, I think it say design set or the 3 blue stars. You're going to go down to the hoop with the cap that is at the bottom right and select the hoop that you are using. In this case, we are doing a cap, so you want to click on the cap. Once you do that, the pentagram will move, and as you can see now, your design is now within a rectangle. In this case, my design looks like it is too big, a little too big, or it might be fine, but just looking from here, it looks like it's too close to the border. So what I'm going to do is go into the Y axis of my design, or the Y area, and I'm going to go down to 90%. In other words, I size down 10% going from my Y axis. So I want to, first I started with 5%, then I went down to 10%. So then since I did it to the Y, I want to also do it to the X. So now I am going to go to the other one, which is the X one, and I'm going to do 90% as well. It was at 100, now it is at 90. So like I said, I went down 10%. I sized down my width and my height by 10%. Once you're finished with everything, you will want to push OK. That will save it into the system. Then you want to push escape. Next, I like to go to my needles, and right now it says it's on needle number 5. I like to go ahead and move it to needle number 1. Once again, the pentagraph will move to needle 1. Now it is time to select your colors. You can go straight from this screen, or if you went back to the other screen, you directly go to the color spools. On this screen, as you can see where the blue little box is at the top, you can't really see, but it is a bunch of squares. This is where you decide on what color threads you want to use. I did not print this out, but this is called a run sheet or a color sheet, or basically it's the steps that you're going to have to go through in order to achieve this design, and it tells you what colors that you're using. So you use that as a reference. Also, this is where the threads at, the threads. So depending on where you have threads at, it depends on what number you use. So my first color is black. So I'm going to push number 2 because my black is in the second spot. My second color, which is red. So it goes from back to front. So that will be 1. Black is 2. Silver is 3. Red is 4. Gold is 5. So like I said, my red is number 4. So my second step is the color red. I am going to pick number 4. Don't mind the colors that you see on the screen above each number. Those colors are just there. There is a way to change it, which today he told us in training there's a way to change it, and he was supposed to have been telling us, but so much was going on with this other person having so many issues, we just totally forgot to get back to it. If I do happen to figure it out, I will let y'all know. But all you're gonna do is just go through your different steps and input your different colors. So now I'm on step number 3, which I believe is the color orange. So it is number 10 for me. And you're just going to go through and do, like I said, the rest of my colors. My next one was yellow, which is number 7. Then my color green, which was number 9. And then my color blue, which was number 8. And then my last color is white, which is number 1 for me. If you're going by your run sheet, you will know how many steps you have. If not, if you just going with the flow, you would know if you're done with your steps. If you cannot, click on a different square after that last one. And as it is very important that once you get your colors in, you push OK, because if not, those colors you just picked is not saved. Next, you want to go and adjust your speed. You can do this throughout the embroidery process, but it's always good to set it at the beginning if you already know where you want it to be at. So my speed was set at 800 already. Today in class, I learned that it's best to, a good starting point is 450 for cap. So I am going to push the minus button all the way until I get to 450. And like I said, you can adjust the speed as you are going through the design. So now it's time to place the actual hat cap ring. So in order to get the cap ring off of the hooping station, that what you see me tapping on is a clip or a clamp. It is 3 of them in all, 1 on this side, 1 on the other side, and 1 up under at the bottom. You push all 3 and it will pop off. Those same clamps that you just pushed off to get it off of that, you want to use to push it on. So as you can see, I can't go straight forward because of the build of the hat. So you have to turn your hat either to the left or to the right and slide it on until it gets behind those presser foots, that metal piece, and then turn it up. Once you get it turned up, you want to line up the clamps, and you don't want to push directly on it. You want to grab behind. I'm gonna bend my bill of my hat back a little bit, get it a little more flatter, and then put it back in again because I was having issues getting it to sit up in there right. And what I was mentioning before, you want to grab, I don't know if you can tell the black, but you want to grab your hand behind the black part and grab onto the cap ring and push the two together until you feel the clips clamp in. Like I said, one on this side, one on the other side, and one at the bottom. You want to make sure all of those are clamped in. Once you are satisfied, you have successfully placed your hooping ring onto the cap driver. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it's not a big deal if you don't have it completely lined up, but as you can see, this is the middle of my hat, and once I pull down my needle one, it is off a little bit. So I want it to be in the middle of those two tan lines. So what I am going to do is, on your display screen, you have some arrows. Whichever arrow you push is going to move the opposite. So if you want it to go right, you need to push the left arrow, and vice versa. So in this case, I need my needle to move to the right. So therefore, I push my left arrow. And you will see it start moving as so. And pull my needle down again. It got a little closer, but I want to go a little tad more, so I am going to push it one more time. And to me, that's right in the middle. I am satisfied. Once you are satisfied, you can either hit the lock button, then OK, or in my case, I just went straight to the trace button and it will automatically lock the design. The first time you push the trace button, it will trace it out very fast. The second time you do a trace, it's like a actual complete trace around the exact design. It will show you exactly where it will be going. You do not want to hit that metal piece back there. If your needle or presser foot hits that metal piece, you can mess up your machine. So it is always very important to use the trace button, even if you have to trace multiple times. Right here, I did move my design down some, but since the bill of my hat is hitting the back of the machine, it will not work. So therefore, I will have to move my design back to where it originally was. Sometimes you can go lower as far as the placement of your design, depending on the bill of your hat. And in this situation, I could not. So as you can see, I am moving my design back. As I am moving my design, I can see it on my screen as far as where the placement is at. So that is how I know that I had it back in the center for the Y and the X axis, because I could see it on the display screen. Once again, I am doing another trace just to do a double check, since I did have to move my design back. Once you are satisfied with the way the placement of your design, you're all set to go to push that green button, that green old start button. This design right here, I Like I said or mentioned earlier, I did get it digitized from someone from Etsy. They did me a left chest logo. I did test that one out and it came out pretty good. I did have to get it revised because he left out my orange color. This is my first time doing the actual hat one. So he did me a left chest and he digitized me one for my hats. So this will be the first time using it on a hat. Since my logo itself is a black background, I am going to use some felt as a applique process for my first step. So I have some felt with some sticky back on it. This is my first time using felt with the sticky back for an applique. So hopefully it comes out right. Since I am using applique, I had to go back into my sys panel, unlock it, go back to my threads, and since this is the first thread color, number one, I make sure that first box is selected, and I'm going to push the 2 frames with the F in it. That is the frame out button. So therefore, when it gets done with this particular color, the frame will come out. That is giving me the opportunity to cut the fabric away. Once I did that, I went back to lock my machine. Like I mentioned earlier, I am using felt. It does have sticky back on it. I believe I got it from Walmart for maybe $3 and something. I think it came 5 in a pack, black, brown, and white. And I think it was like, might have been a 6-pack. I think it was 2 of each color. Was out of frame, but what I did was I did another trace once I put down that felt to make sure I had enough felt to cover the whole design. I do apologize that I did not show that part, but that is what I was just doing. And as you can see, I do have the felt placed down already, and it's time to start. The first color was black. I could have used a different color just so that when I go to cut the felt, it would have been easier for me to see the stitches and to make sure I did not cut on the stitches. That is the purpose of using a different color than the actual material you're using when you are doing applique. But this is just stitching down the felt. And like I said, once this black color finish, it will frame out to give me time to cut the excess felt away. Next time, I will say, if I was to ever do a applique hat, I will take the actual hat off the driver and cut the fabric off. I was scared to remove the hat because this was my first time doing applique on a hat. So I wasn't sure that if I removed it, if it will mess up. Even though on flats you can remove it if you want to, and it's still supposed to be in the same spot when you put it back. But it's like you never So right now what I am doing is cutting the excess felt away. I wish I had a better angle of this as well, but trying to keep up with moving the camera, and every time your angle changes, you forget. So I apologize. I do apologize. But you can see on this side of what I am doing, like I said, you basically cutting around the outline as close as possible without cutting the thread. And like I said, I should have used a different color so I could see better. Once you do finish cutting all your excess thread off, you want to make sure you push the frame out, frame in button to make sure that it goes back into the right placement. And as you will see, it will move in a second because I did hit the frame in button. So please remember, anytime you use the frame out option, to make sure you frame it back in. So it just framed it back in, and I'm finna start it back up. Now it's just going to go step by step, color by color. It's starting off with the red. It's going to do everything that is supposed to be done in red. Once it finishes, it will stop and go to my next color, which I believe is orange, and then so on. I am not going to sit here and bore you even more with all of that. Hopefully you did learn something from this tutorial. Once again, like I said, I do apologize that I haven't uploaded as much the past few weeks, but I will get back on track. So I am going to speed this up. If you have any questions or want to see a particular tutorial about something or anything, just leave me a message in the comment section, and I will definitely respond back. I appreciate y'all. Like I said in one of my previous little video shorts, I done made it to 500 followers. My next goal is 1,000. I believe that we can do that together. So yeah, let me speed it on up for y'all. So the design just finished. You want to unhook it from the driver by unhooking all 3 of those clamps. 2 of them came off pretty easy. That left side one was kind of hard to get off, but I eventually did get it off. And like I said, you cannot pull it straight off because of the bill of the hat. So you have to rotate it either to the left or to the right. Once you have missed the presser foots, then you can rotate it back upwards. And you have now just finished my first logo hat with my logo. I do see some areas that I did not cut real good, so I am going to go back in and try to get those spots. This is a hat for myself, so I'm not too big of a deal about it. The only thing I will say about this digitized design is the words that is inside of my letters. I cannot really tell what they say besides the one in the middle. I can clearly see that it say young, but the other 2 I can't really make out what they say. I don't know if it can be fixed because it is small letters. Not only is it small letters, but it's like a cursive type of letter. I might reach back out to him to see if he can fix it or not. But if not, I can just ask him to take the words out of the letters and maybe put it around the top of the actual design or something. I will figure it out. But I am satisfied with how it came out for the most part. While that was finishing stitching out, I did happen to hoop another hat. My machine did come with 2 cap rings, so therefore I am able to hoop another hat while I am already stitching on a hat, so I can have it ready and prepared as soon as I am done. So I will be placing this one on the machine as well and doing the same exact design. I will show you me putting it on the machine, but I am not going to record it stitching out. I will show you a picture of the hat at the end of the video. Once again, you want to turn the hat to the left or the right. Once that bill of the hat is behind those needles presser foots, then you can go bill of the hat straight up and make sure all 3 clamps are clamped in. Do not just push on it. You want to grab behind the black frame of the cap driver and the front of the cap ring and press them together. Since I am using the same design, I do not have to go through all of these steps. Right now you see me trying to line it up to the center. Once I did that, I will be doing a trace. That is what's going on now, and then I am going to do a slow trace. The purpose of the slow trace is to make sure it does not hit that silver piece that's back there across the bill and that it does not go too high up. You definitely do not want to go no higher than those 2 holes that you see right there. I am satisfied, so therefore I am going to push the start button. Now all we have left to do on the hat that we finished already is to tear out the stabilizer and to freshen up any thread pieces that is hanging out on the inside of the cap. So that's the inside of the cap. So this is the inside of the cap. As you can see, the little threads or whatnot. I'm just going to take some little nippers, scissors, and just cut them away. Like I said, this is my hat, so I ain't too much really worried about it. But if it was for a customer, I definitely would clean this up to my best possibility. And you just basically just cutting off the little pieces of thread. Cleaning it up to make it look a lot nicer. I did happen to get this hat from Walmart. I believe it was a regular $8 and something, but I got it. They had it on sale or on clearance for $5 and something, or it might have been $3. It's supposed to have been $5 and it was on sale for $3.50 or something like that. I can't quite remember, but I did like it, armor fatigue, so I wanted to try it out with my logo. And like I said, it, for the most part, it came out pretty good. The only part I do not like is the word strong and gifted. You can't really tell what it says. But I'm still going to rock this hat whenever I can, whenever this hair is braided, this fro of mine is braided down, because can't no hat fit over this fro of mine. But I do once again hope that y'all enjoyed this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you already haven't. You can even share this video. Share, comment, subscribe. So right now I'm going in with my scissors and trying to see if I can cut some of this extra felt on off. I also went in with a lighter to get some of it to come off as well. That worked pretty good, but if you are going to use a lighter with felt, be very, very careful, because it will melt it real fast.